Hello everyone! Welcome to our video about Greenland. Greenland is the largest island in the world. It is very cold and is mostly covered by ice. The island is in the Arctic, far from other countries. Greenland has a long and interesting history. Many different peoples and cultures have lived there. The first people known to live on Greenland were the Inuit. They hunted, fished, and built homes to survive in the cold. Later, Europeans, including the Vikings, visited and settled on the island. Today, Greenland has a special political status as part of Denmark. In this video, we will explore Greenland's history from ancient times to the present. Part 1. Early settlement and Inuit culture. Greenland is a very cold and large island. People first came to Greenland a long time ago. Archaeologists think the first humans arrived between 2500 and 1000 BCE. These early people are called Paleo-Eskimos. They lived along the coast. They hunted animals and fished in the sea. They used simple tools made of bone and stone. Life was very hard, but they learned to survive in the cold Arctic climate. Later, around 1200 CE, a new group called the Thule people came to Greenland. The Thule are the ancestors of the modern Inuit. They were very skilled hunters. They hunted seals, walruses, and whales. They also fished and gathered food from the land. They used kayaks to move on the water and dog sleds to travel on ice and snow. Dogs were very important for the Thule people. They helped carry food, tools, and people over long distances. The Thule people built special houses to live in. In the winter, they sometimes built igloos from snow. Igloos were warm and protected them from strong winds. In the summer, they built sod houses from grass and soil. These houses kept them cool in summer and warm in winter. The houses were small but strong. Families lived together in the houses. Inuit culture was very rich. They wore clothes made from animal skins. Seals, caribou, and polar bears provided clothing and food. Men and women had different roles. Men usually hunted, and women prepared food and made clothes. Children learned from their parents. They learned to hunt, fish, and travel on ice. Stories, songs, and traditions were important. The Inuit also made tools, art, and toys. They decorated their homes with carvings and masks. The Inuit were very connected to the land. They knew how to find food and survive in cold weather. They understood the seasons, animals, and ice. They worked together in groups to hunt and share food. Life was difficult, but they had strong skills and knowledge to survive. Their culture shows the ability of humans to live in extreme places. Even today, the Inuit culture continues in Greenland. People still speak the Greenlandic language. They still hunt and fish for food. They also use modern tools, but traditional knowledge is still important. The story of the Inuit and early settlers shows how Greenland was first lived in. It teaches us about survival, adaptation, and respect for nature. The history of Greenland begins with these brave and skilled people who lived in one of the coldest places on Earth. Part 2. Viking Exploration and Settlements. Around 986 CE, a Viking named Erik the Red traveled to Greenland. Erik the Red was from Iceland. He had been banished from Iceland for some crimes. He wanted to find a new land to live. Erik explored the coast of Greenland. He named it Greenland to make it sound attractive. Other Vikings followed him. They built settlements along the coast. The main areas were called Eastern Greenland and Western Greenland. The Vikings built farms in Greenland. They raised cows, sheep, and goats. They grew barley and some vegetables. The land was difficult for farming. The weather was very cold, and the soil was not always good. Winters were long and dark. Summers were short. Despite this, the Vikings worked hard to survive. They built houses from stone and turf. The houses were warm and strong. They also built churches and small villages. Vikings traded with Iceland and Europe. They sold walrus ivory, furs, and other goods. In return, they received iron, cloth, and tools. Trade was very important for survival. Boats were used for travel and trade. The sea was dangerous, but the Vikings were skilled sailors. They knew how to navigate icy waters and strong winds. Life was not easy for Vikings in Greenland. They faced harsh weather, isolation, and food shortages. Sometimes crops failed. Some winters were very cold, and many people were hungry. Despite these challenges, the Vikings lived in Greenland for several centuries. The Vikings also had contact with the Inuit people. They saw the Thule and other Inuit groups. There may have been some trade and cultural exchange. The Vikings learned about hunting and living on ice from the Inuit. The Inuit learned from the Vikings about new tools and weapons. Both groups had to adapt to Greenland's cold climate to survive. Over time, Viking settlements began to decline. The reasons are not completely clear. Harsh weather, less trade, and difficulties in farming may have caused problems. By the 15th century, most Viking settlements disappeared. Few traces of their villages and farms remained. Even though the Vikings left Greenland, they had a lasting influence. They showed how people from Europe could live in Greenland. They brought new ideas, farming methods, and Christianity to the island. Their stories, ruins, and artifacts are still studied today. Part 3. Greenland under Danish Rule. After the Viking settlements disappeared, Greenland had little contact with Europe for many years. In the 18th century, Denmark claimed Greenland as part of its kingdom. The Danish government wanted to control the island for trade and resources. They sent explorers and officials to Greenland to establish towns and trading posts. Christian missionaries also arrived in Greenland. They wanted to teach the Inuit people about Christianity. Churches were built in small towns. Many Inuit converted to the new religion. Danish priests and teachers helped to spread Danish culture and language. Missionaries also taught reading and writing. They wrote books in Greenlandic and Danish. Danish traders built small towns and trading stations along the coast. These towns became centers for goods such as fish, whale products, and furs. The Inuit traded their catches and crafts with the Danish. Trade changed life for the Inuit. They began to rely more on goods from Europe, like tools, clothes, and food items. The Danish government introduced new rules and laws. Greenland was now under Danish governance. Officials controlled trade, taxes, and legal matters. The Inuit had to follow Danish law. Some traditional customs were affected. However, the Inuit adapted to the new system while keeping many of their old traditions. Education became more important under Danish rule. Schools were established in towns. Danish and Greenlandic were taught. Many Inuit children learned reading, writing, and religion. This helped them understand European ways. It also created connections between Greenland and Denmark. Life in Greenland changed because of Danish influence. Danish culture, religion, and language mixed with Inuit traditions. People lived in villages with both Inuit and Danish ways of life. Christianity became important in daily life. Danish holidays and customs were introduced. Some Inuit practices continued, especially hunting, fishing, and building homes from natural materials. Greenland remained a part of the Danish kingdom for centuries. Danish control shaped the island's politics, economy, and society. Even today, Greenland has a special relationship with Denmark. It has local self-rule, but Denmark still controls foreign affairs and defense. Danish influence is visible in education, government, and culture. In conclusion, Danish rule changed Greenland in many ways. The introduction of Christianity, trading posts, and schools influenced the Inuit. Governance and law were reorganized under Denmark. Despite these changes, the Inuit preserved many of their traditions. Today, Greenland's history reflects both Inuit heritage and Danish influence. Understanding this period is important to know how Greenland developed into the island we see now. Part 4. Greenland during the 20th century. In the 20th century, Greenland became very important in world events. During World War II, Greenland had a strategic location in the North Atlantic. The United States wanted to protect the island from possible attacks. They built military bases in Greenland. These bases helped the Allies monitor the ocean and support the fight in Europe. The U.S. presence brought many changes to Greenland. Airports were built to support planes. Ports were improved for ships. Hospitals and clinics were constructed to help people. These developments made life easier for Greenlanders. Roads and communication systems also improved in some areas. Modern technology and new buildings changed daily life. Greenlanders had access to better medical care and new tools for hunting and fishing. Electricity and radios became more common in towns. People began to travel more easily along the coast. The modern world was reaching even remote parts of Greenland. The economy also changed. Trade with other countries increased. Fishing became a bigger business. Some Greenlanders found jobs in the new US bases. These jobs offered salaries and new skills. Traditional hunting and fishing remained important, but Greenlanders learned to balance old and new ways of life. Society changed because Greenlanders had more contact with people from other countries. They met Americans, Danes, and other Europeans. Some Greenlanders studied abroad or learned new languages. Education and knowledge of the wider world increased. Life in the Arctic still had many challenges. The climate is very cold, and snow and ice make travel difficult. Food and supplies are sometimes hard to get in winter. Despite modernization, Greenlanders had to adapt to harsh conditions. Hunting, fishing, and community cooperation remained important for survival. During this period, Greenland began to think about self-government. People wanted more control over local affairs. They started to participate in decision-making and planning. Greenlanders worked to preserve their culture and traditions, while also taking advantage of modern developments. In conclusion, the 20th century was a time of great change for Greenland. World War II and the U.S. presence brought new infrastructure, technology, and jobs. Greenlanders gained more contact with the world while still facing Arctic challenges. These changes laid the foundation for Greenland's path toward self-government and a modern society. Understanding this period helps explain how Greenland became the island it is today. Part 5. Autonomy and Political Development. In 1979, Greenland took an important step in its history. The island introduced home rule. This meant that Greenland could make decisions about many local matters. The Danish government still controlled some areas, like foreign policy and defense. But Greenlanders now had more control over education, health, and local government. Home rule gave Greenlanders a stronger voice in their own lives. They could vote for representatives in a new parliament called Inatsisartut. This parliament makes laws about local issues. People elect members every 4 years. The government includes a prime minister and ministers who manage different areas, such as health, education, and fisheries. In 2009, Greenland achieved another milestone: self-government. This change gave Greenland even more power. The island can now control natural resources, including minerals and oil. Greenlanders also have more influence over the police and courts. Self-government strengthened Greenland's identity and pride. Greenland still has a close relationship with Denmark. Denmark provides financial support and helps with international affairs. Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but manages most local matters independently. The island also participates in international meetings, including climate discussions and Arctic cooperation. Greenland's leaders now speak for their people on the global stage. Economically, Greenland faces challenges. Fishing is the largest industry. Many Greenlanders rely on fishing for their jobs and food. Mining is another important sector. The island has valuable minerals, But mining is difficult because of the Arctic climate and environmental concerns. Climate change affects both industries. Melting ice changes fishing areas and affects traditional hunting. Greenland must balance economic growth with protecting nature and culture. Cultural revival is also important in Greenland. Education teaches the Greenlandic language and history. Schools combine modern subjects with traditional skills like hunting and navigation. Music, art, and storytelling celebrate Greenland's heritage. Many young people now feel proud of their culture and identity. In conclusion, home rule and self-government have changed Greenland's political life. The island has its own parliament, manages most local issues, and participates in global discussions. Greenland faces economic and environmental challenges, but it also protects its culture and traditions. Today, Greenland has a growing voice in the world. Its journey from home rule in 1979 to self-government in 2009 shows the island's progress and determination. Greenlanders continue to shape their future while honoring their past. Part 6: Environment, Climate, and Future. Greenland is known for its large ice sheet. It is the second largest in the world after Antarctica. Glaciers cover most of the island. They are big rivers of ice that slowly move toward the sea. These glaciers make Greenland a very cold and unique place. The ice also affects the climate and the way people live. Climate change is a serious problem in Greenland. The ice is melting faster than before. Melting ice causes sea levels to rise around the world. This is dangerous for people who live in coastal areas. The melting also changes the landscape of Greenland. Some villages are closer to the water. Roads and buildings need to adapt to the new conditions. Climate change affects the lives of the Inuit people. Traditional hunting and fishing are harder because animals move to new areas. Polar bears, seals, and fish are changing their habitats. This makes it difficult for people who rely on them for food and work. Greenlanders must find new ways to survive while keeping their traditions. The changing environment also brings opportunities. Greenland has many natural resources. Minerals, oil, and gas are found under the ice. These resources can help Greenland grow economically. Tourism is another opportunity. People come to Greenland to see the glaciers, northern lights, and wildlife. Tourists help local businesses and create jobs. Many countries are interested in Greenland. The Arctic region is important for shipping and scientific research. Greenland plays a key role in studying climate change. Scientists from around the world visit Greenland to learn about glaciers, ice melting, and the Arctic ecosystem. Research helps people understand global climate issues and plan for the future. Greenlanders also work to protect their environment. Laws and policies try to balance nature and economic growth. Sustainable fishing, careful mining, and ecotourism are some ways to protect the land. Education programs teach young people about the importance of keeping Greenland safe for future generations. In conclusion, Greenland's environment is beautiful and important. The ice sheet and glaciers shape life on the island. Climate change creates problems, but also new chances for development. Greenland's people, wildlife, and natural resources are all connected. Protecting the environment is necessary for the future. Greenland is not only part of the Arctic, but also part of the global fight against climate change. How Greenland manages its ice, resources, and communities will be important for the whole world in the years to come.